When I think of San Luis Obispo County, there's a lot of open space in the county, and it's fairly rural. And I think that's part of what makes San Luis Obispo special. It's not a very sprawling city. You get down to the 5 cities, it's a lot more developed, but it's nice to have little slices set aside for people to enjoy.
I do think that the Pismo Preserve is going to have a very good and positive impact on our local cycling community, as well as the equestrian and hiking community, is allowing a little bit more space for South County trail users, especially on crowded weekends. The reality is that currently the majority of South County trail users, if they come up into slow, the first thing they hit is Johnson Ranch, which actually does get very, very crowded on weekends. And the Pismo Preserve will allow a second outlet, another group of trails for people to use and spread out a little bit, hopefully making everybody a little happier and giving us another option to ride, especially when the weather's hot in North County or here in San Luis Obispo.
The Pismo Preserve is an 880-acre property behind the city of Pismo Beach, and it was acquired by the Land Conservancy in September of 2014 with the goal of making it a public open space, preserving it in perpetuity. It was a piece of property that was pretty prime for development. I could see it being developed eventually. We raised $12 million in 6 months. It was a grassroots movement, a lot of community involvement and partnerships. We raised over $1 million from the local community, a lot from local governments, some major organizations like the Wildlife Conservation Board and the Coastal Conservancy. We've constructed an 11-mile multi-use trail system throughout the property. And when I say multi-use, I mean equestrians, mountain bikes, and hikers. The trail system was built over a 3-month period. We partnered with 3CMB, the Central Coast Concerned Mountain Bikers, and Slow Post was a big partner as well, as well as a number of equestrian groups.
Kind of grew out of what capacities 3CMB has developed over the years. The first was the capacity to raise awareness on a project and get the trails community to pay attention. The second is to engage volunteers, to recruit volunteers, and we have done that over the years so that we have the ability to recruit 50 or 100 or 200 volunteers on any given day. And we know how to manage volunteers. That's the third capacity. We've just been doing it a long time. We have a lot of experienced people. Basically what we did was bring those things to the table in a partnership with the Land Conservancy. We helped the Land Conservancy identify who they wanted as a trail builder based on their experience. We helped them decide on a builder, and when we did, it became clear that the builder was going to need volunteer support.
More trails is always better for outdoor recreation, basically for everybody. It opens up the area for some Pismo residents to basically just be able to ride from their house. If it does make the area overall a little bit nicer, I think we'll see a greater draw for the tourism industry as a general whole.
The coolest thing about this property or about this project in general was just the volunteer push that completed it, and I think that's it's a real testament to the community of San Luis Obispo as trail users that really came together and wanted to build all this, wanted to make this property a reality, and our community came together and raised tons of money for us to purchase it and enable us to open it up to the public. So I think the trail construction is just it's kind of one part of a bigger community thing that we can promote.
It's going to be a really special thing for San Luis Obispo County, especially South County. There's not a lot of open space that's available to the public down there. South County is the most densely populated part of San Luis Obispo County, so there'll be a lot of people that'll be excited to use it down there, and there's also a lot of visitors that come to Pismo Beach. I think it's important to have open space because, so people have to live somewhere, so you got to have developed areas also. But it's also important to have a place where you can go to be outside and get away from kind of the busyness of town. It's good to have town, but it's good to get away